Welcome, everybody, to the Teamster Power 767 campaign podcast.
This is a new podcast solely dedicated to the Teamster Power Slate running for Local 767 office in November of 2024. Regardless of the outcome, we intend to continue the Reality Check podcast dedicated to the education of the members locally and across the country. Our goal, in or out of office, is to educate as many Teamsters as possible.
All right, so we're going to get right into it. Okay, today we have OJ Keys. He is a 5-year Teamster UPSer, feeder driver out of Lone Star. And there's been a lot of issues, and I speak with OJ a lot, and I try to help when I can, and we bounce things off each other. But he has got some legitimate concerns, and he's got a lot of frustration. So first things first, we're going to start with subcontracting. So let's talk about subcontracting, OJ.
Why do we need contractors?
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know.
Good question.
Why do right? If we get that busy, we should always have qualified backups ready to go. Right.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
So is that laziness? Yeah. Is that laziness on the company's part, or the local or whatever to not push the issue of getting more guys trained?
Yeah.
Subcontractors should be very desperately last resort.
Yeah.
We got bodies.
Yeah.
But it happens every day.
Right.
Yeah. What was maybe you just refresh it from what was said when they were doing the negotiations about subcontracting? What did they say would happen if they didn't fix it?
From what I heard, it was pretty much that all hands need to be on deck before we even think about using contractors, right?
Well, yeah, but when they were talking about it, they said if subcontracting isn't fixed, we were going to walk the line, right?
Right.
Just like with removing the cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Yeah.
It didn't work out at all.
Exactly.
Worked out for the company.
And,
right.
But now on each lot, the subcontractors have a certain spot on the yard. It's like they have a piece of the yard that they could use. And what's the amount of time they could be there?
I know. Speaking on that, there's one steward that I talk to almost every day that has went in the dispatch office and brought that up to management. Contractors that he actually got a contractor booted out the yard, and that was that was big. That was big for me. I like to see things like that because everybody's so lazy and so passive now. And that's the company directly violating the contract, and like, what are y'all gonna do about it? But if one person does it, hey man, let's start a trend, right? Because they run the yard wild, like it's their yard, right? We got to follow the rules. If we do something on the yard and a member of management see it, we're gonna be disciplined, right? But you got contractors out there with flip-flops, no socks, no vest,
ankle bracelets.
Ankle bracelets?
Nothing against nobody's religion, right? Because I have my beliefs, but we got guys pulling out, their carpets and doing prayers in the line on the tractor line with no vest.
Shit!
I caught a guy in the bathroom. I caught a guy in the bathroom with his whole feet in the sink, like literally taking a bird bath. And I had to ask him, hey man, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's listen, they you want to pray, you want to do that. That's fine. Just have a vest on, right?
Right.
Don't do it in the yard when there's trucks trying to move around. Like Go
I mean, I
inside.
get that. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's on the tractor line. You know what I'm saying? I seen the guy do it twice, the same guy on the tractor line. And I didn't, want to go say anything, because it's not my place. But, hey, management is vigilant about everything that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's keep that same energy, right? Man, I had to jump on a contractor the other night. And a driver called me the next day and was like, "Hey man, I appreciate that. I seen that guy. We had a shifter, pulling up to do his bag to the door. The contractor is trying to speed on the yard. The shifter, and he's like right here next to him in his blind spot. So the shifter is bagging up, making a wide bag, and they're about to collide. I had to jump out, stop both of them. And I had to get in the contractor ass, man, like, hey, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, no, bro, he has the right of way. You need to calm down and be patient. You need to bag up. You need to let him do his maneuver, or you need to get out of here, bro. Simple and plain. And there was other guys that stopped, yelling out their tractor as well, almost caused the accident. And who fault would it have been?
Yeah, it would have come on that shifter.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And the thing is the issue that I've always had, that what I see is, we have to go through stringent security protocols and everything, but no, the contractors, hey, they don't have to go through that. I don't understand. What if they start, they have a gun or something like that, I mean,
they don't even check. The only place that I see that I've personally seen is the airport. Right?
Yeah.
That's it. But security, they drive right on the yard. It's a tragedy waiting to happen, right?
Yeah.
So it's got to make the news. It's got to, before a policy change. The policy is already in place.
Yeah. So let me ask you something now. So we'll go to a different aspect. So,
okay,
is everyone filing on the subcontracting, or you tell me?
I know a lot of guys that file.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Just keep filing.
I've been filing since 2021, since I came to Feeders.
Yeah.
Right. The payouts that I have got versus the denials are very far few in between. And the ones that I do get paid out, and other guys are not what they should be paid out. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I get it. So what do you think the reason is for that? Say it.
You want speculation? I mean, I think we're making unnecessary deals. If I don't know, but if what I speculate and what other drivers speculate,
just speculating.
Either deals are being made, right, just to get a settlement, or either someone's scared to fight for what's rightfully ours. I know, no disrespect to anybody, but I'm just gonna, call it for what it is.
So let me get this straight. Like, you file grievances for these subcontracting, and they get settled, and the settlements that you're expecting is not what you get. Like, are the BAs calling you and asking you if you're okay with these settlements, or
no, sir?
Like, correct me if I'm wrong here. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Jeff. But like, if a member asks for a settlement and the company won't agree to it, I'm supposed to contact that member and make sure they're okay with the settlement before I settle for anything lower than what they asked. Like, that's what I'm on. That's the understanding that I'm under as a steward, and the BAs aren't following that.
No, I mean, the thing is, I'm going to tell you honestly, it's a fine line. It's once you do a grievance, you give the BAs the right to settle it. And I know if you're asking for something specific, then maybe the BA makes a call, right?
Yeah.
But they make the decision. But for me, I was, if there was an issue, you always get the member involved. I mean,
Yeah.
why not? What's the big deal?
Yeah.
I don't understand why you wouldn't. I mean, it's
Right.
just ask them. Don't not, and I would have some of them in some of the hearings. I don't mind. I mean, there's nothing to hide, Here it is. Maybe you can explain it better. Maybe we'll, do that.
I just feel like, what's understood shouldn't have to be said.
Yeah.
We are Teamsters. Like, everything should be done in the best interest of the member.
Yep.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why are my contractor grievances or your contractor grievances or whoever, how do you get 2 hours, 4 hours?
Yeah.
Like this contractor is another member, and like he has some type of seniority or some type of shit like that. And no, I need the whole enchilada. You want to take the panel? I'll wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, has any of them gone to the panel for you?
Not for mine. No, I know. I'm still waiting on a lot of stuff, man. I've got some settled, but that's maybe because of me, talking shit on Facebook or making phone calls, or it seemed more like a pity party. I don't need pity from anyone. I want what's rightfully mine, just like the next member.
Yeah.
I'm willing to wait.
No, that makes sense. I mean, we'll just, needless to say, it's an issue, right? We'll just call it that because we don't know exactly what it is, but we'll say there's definitely an issue there.
Let me ask you this, and I actually got, and man, my phone my phone just is hot all day and with issues, right? Yep. And I talk to guys in the bottom 10%, senior guys. I talk to everybody, other hubs. Yep. And let me ask you this. If moving equipment, anything that belongs to UPS, right? At the rail yard, at a hub, I don't care if it's empty. Should that be considered our work?
Of course it's all work.
I would think so.
Why?
It's all work.
Why aren't we pushing that, right? So for the life of me, I filed on like maybe 5 contractors in one day at Mopac, the rail yard. All 5 of these grievances came back as a denied because I was told that they were empties. So
that's an empty you could have taken, or someone could have taken. I don't get
at this time, I believe we had already got a phone call that we were getting laid off. Why we getting laid off? And I instantly go into a rage, of course, a professional rage, and I start writing down tractors, taking pictures, thinking, why we getting laid off? Oh man. But nobody has my back that has the powers that be, right?
Yeah. And you've tried. You reached out. I've spoken to you about that. You reach out and you don't get the responses.
No, a lot of people feel misrepresented. Yeah. And it's a bad feeling, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's when it makes you want to lose your mind when you're paying someone to represent. It's like I'm in the court of law, and I've hired an attorney to represent me, and the attorney is working with the other side, right? Yeah. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling. You want, the local has to have your back. I mean,
100%, 100%.
Yeah. So we talked about subcontracting. Let's get into the bottom 10%, because I know that's been a big issue. That's been something that you've been real frustrated about. Let's talk about that.
So let's talk about that. Is the top. There's no language on the bottom 10%. We're making that up because I like to go by black and white, right?
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people do, is try to interpret the contract based on their opinions and this and that. But the black and white says, right, the top 90%
Yes.
in your center. And it doesn't even break it down by classification. It doesn't say package, 22-3, feeder. It says the top 90% in your center are guaranteed 40 hours, right? It doesn't say nothing about the bottom 10%. We making that up. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Okay?
Exactly. Yep. That's top 90. Yep.
I'm in the bottom 10%. I'm outside of the top 90%. Okay.
Exactly. We say bottom 10 because but we know it's you're just not in the top 90,
there.
right?
It's not a lie. It's there, but based on black and white. So but at the end of the day, me and my brothers and sisters are still full-time seniority holding employees.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
how are they screwed with you? How is the company screwed with you?
In the past, we have, by us being on call, we would sit home and not get a call. We may get maybe 2 or 3 punches for the week. Right? They will call you and offer you alternative work like Hub when they feel like they want to call you.
I get you.
Right?
I get you. Yeah, no.
Not you have to call me and offer me my 8 hours every day, right? We're gonna call you and offer you Hub work when we don't have feeder work when we want to.
Yeah.
My understanding as a Teamster and my interpretation as a Teamster, as a full-time employee, as a dues paying member, I should still be guaranteed my 40 hours with alternative work. Don't call me when you want to. If I'm not called by a certain time, so the courtesy is like a 2-hour window to get to work. If you don't call me 11:59 wide, work is directed. It's like the last possible job you can get to get a punch for the day. Yeah. If I haven't received a call by 10:30, I need to be at my assigned work area, letting them know I want to bump 2 part-timers to get my 8 hours. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Why isn't my local union fighting that?
Yeah. Well,
so when you brought that to him, that this issue, and what did they do?
Nothing. We still continue to sit at home. We were told that. So I got everybody to start filing grievances on this issue. So I try to get clever with the contract language and mix and match things or whatever. And so I had everybody to start filing on the layoff language, right? Because what the company was doing was, whenever we didn't work, they would code our time card layoff. So, hey man, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but that sounds like a layoff less than 10 days to me, right? There's 2 sides to that language: a layoff less than 10 days and a layoff lasting longer than 10 days. It was 7. The new contract is 10.
Yeah.
Common sense tells you, if I don't get a punch, that is a layoff less than 10 days. Other than that, why is the language even there?
I know they shouldn't be putting it in there. It's not, it's not a layoff. I mean, it's they kind of want to do what they want to do, but it's as the locals got to be able to push back on that, and
I wasn't offered any alternative work. I sat at home. I was laid off less than 10 days. I mean, I should file a grievance. And I should get my 8 guaranteed. I was told that, and I'm gonna hold that right there, and we're gonna go back. But real quick, I was told that out of all those grievances, 1 grievance was chosen to go to panel. 1 grievance for all of these grievances on this one situation. as an attorney or a business agent, and I've never been a business agent, a steward, or attorney, but common sense, I'm coming with all of the evidence.
Yeah.
If it's a stack this high, why would I take one grievance to the panel?
Well, just a side thing, and it's, in certain cases you want to bring your best case forward, right?
Okay,
Because
I got you.
if you don't bring the right case, you'll get a bad decision, and then all of them get that bad decision behind it, And I mean, it's something you got to be careful, you got to be aware of,
And
But
enlighten me, because you've been a
yeah,
business agent. Like, enlighten
yeah,
me, because
yeah, and
for the life
yeah,
of me, but in certain, it depends on a situation basis. With something like people not getting their hours and getting their punches,
yeah.
would you agree that I would kind of take everybody's grievance and be like, hey, this is the same grievance and it's steady happening week in and week out?
Yeah, the grievance is the grievance. It speaks for itself, right?
Right.
You really, yeah, let's bring them. But what they'll do is, I mean, you can have all the grievances there. You bring, information, you bring, the grievance, you look at, okay, this maybe has the best one. And then, like I said, it'll settle it for the rest of them.
Okay.
But certain things, and honestly, some of the stuff shouldn't even go down there. The company will make it so, okay, they don't want to settle it now, and then all of a sudden they go to the panel, and then, oh, let's settle it outside the room, just to take their time, right? We
Yeah.
know that.
So I
Yeah.
and I understand that. Okay, so but we're not gonna let them out the water that easy, right? Because I still haven't got an email with a decision for those grievances. I just was told that the grievance, we were all told that the grievance was taking the panel, that one grievance, but nobody has yet to get a decision email. So
It's and it goes for all of them. And in the in Guadal's, you just put it in, settled by grievance number, blah blah blah, whichever one that was used. Everything will be settled. All grievances settled by this one, and refer back to that control number. And I don't know if was it laziness or something, but you put those decisions in, you get back from panel, you put the decisions in, you get them done, and that's it. And
we
I
haven't
know
seen
that's been
anything.
an issue. People aren't getting emails, they get checks for things and they don't know what it's for. I mean, there's a process. I mean, you have to do all those things. And like if you settle a supervisor's working, let's say you have 5 of them, right? And with 5 of them, you settle for altogether for this many hours. So you have to write, this settlement is inclusive of all these control numbers, right? And it'll be paid here quadruple time for but you got to put as much information as you can down on the settlement, so there's no questions. Hey, what does this mean? You put all that information down, and I'm getting from people, hey, there's no information. I'm not getting any emails. I'm not getting anything, and it should be done right away. So
Right. Well, this was almost over 2 years ago, and
yeah,
it just it gives me and my brothers and sisters a feeling of, we're being lied to.
yeah.
So
Maybe we're not. Maybe we're not. But we don't have the proof to say that we're not being lied to.
Yeah. Yes, it's you don't know. You can't say definitely yes, but you can't say definitely no,
Right.
right? And there's because and we all know this. There's not. I mean, the communication is horrible. The transparency is horrible, and those were decisions that they made. And I don't know
So
why. Why wouldn't you just give people as much information as possible?
to
You
piggyback
know?
on that, to piggyback on what you just said, and I said a minute ago, I was going to come back to something. The
Yeah.
communication. I'm going to
Yep.
tell you how the communication is off. I'm gonna try to, without messing up anything anybody got going on. But the top 90% rule, right? When I got laid off and I chose to go to another classification, right?
Because you were qualified. Yep.
Because I was qualified, and
Package, yeah.
I'm in this classification, and I'm seeing people get laid off every day, right? Under me and guys under me, outside of the 90%.
Yeah.
I was so baffled because, man, guys were getting paid their guarantee. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
They were getting their guarantee, outside of 90%, but I'm a feeder driver in outside the top 90%, but I'm being told something different by my business agent. That's communication.
Yeah.
Communication.
Yep. Yeah. Consistency. You got to have consistency as well, right?
Across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that pissed me off.
Are there still a lot of feeder drivers on layoff right now, or are we mostly back to?
Currently everyone is out of layoff. Thank God. The backup drivers were out of layoff. Of course, they called them after the contractors, of course. But I hear they're going back because vacations are probably going to be coming down here in a second. But they're still contractors. And I don't want to get too far ahead, but we'll see come the start of next week if the contractors are going along with the qualified backups.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but we'll see. But yeah, right now, everyone is off of layoff. And
the reason why I ask is because like my center and a few other centers have been having some staffing issues lately, and like today, as a matter of fact, on the Saturday that we've got 3 supervisors and a center manager running routes, and still a couple of routes sitting this Saturday, and like that's work for people that like even feeder drivers that could be on layoff if they wanted to offer it. Like,
yeah.
Like, and I remember when we had people on layoff, we didn't have supervisors running routes and stuff, but we had issues getting people to come in some days when we had heavy call-ins, and like the people that were on layoff like wouldn't answer their phones or whatever. So I'm wondering why that stuff doesn't that stuff doesn't trickle down to like the package car centers. Like I get McKinney's probably pretty far away from y'all's centers, so maybe people may not want to drive that far, but
I see supervisors out of Browns going out to do things all the time. Even when I was laid off, right? And they would say, well, we're not. I would say, okay, well, can I do LIBs, or can I go help someone, or can I do pickups? They would tell me, no, we're not doing that today. And I would turn around and see a soup in a package car out of Browns, not even trying to blend in, going to do our work.
But if they're in Browns and they're working, they have to put them on the WOR. They absolutely have to. All their time has to be on there, and they don't always do that. But if people are they should never do that. Technically, in the contract, if supervisors are working, they're supposed to notify us.
Yes.
So that's a bullshit move. Trying to hide it, right? I mean, so you guys, you've been going through some stuff on the subcontracting, and I know there's been an uptick in it. And we'll just call it we'll call it the bottom 10%, even though it's the top 90, whatever. And the company is basically trying to do whatever they want, and the local just hasn't pushed hard enough. And listen, there are certain things the company can do, right? We know there's certain things, but what we have to do is make sure they follow the contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem there. That's the problem. They're not following the contract. I hear people say, "Oh, well, the company can do." So you're defending the company now, right? No, I understand the company can do it, but guess what? They have to do it the right way. They have to adhere to the CBA. That's it.
That's another conversation, man. I can't stand a Teamster that makes an excuse for the company.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't care. Me personally, bro, I have no compassion for the company at all. And I'm gonna tell you why, because a member of management told me when I was laid off back in package center manager said, I said something, the word compassion. He said, compassion is not in the contract. Bet. That's all I need to hear. You just spoke for all of UPS for me. So I don't care what you guys are going through anymore, right? My whole mind frame is about us.
Yep.
Period.
Yep. I mean, we have to take care of each other, because I mean, you see what the company does, and you see deaths that are happening with the heat and the, and everything.
Right.
We got to, no matter what, we have differences, but we just have to look out for each other. Company could care less. And
Yeah.
whether we have our differences, whether we're we're running on a different slate, the bottom line is, we got to work together against the company. And, I
Right.
just,
Right.
and I have no problem with that. Yeah, I may have issues with other things with, with the administration, but, I have no problem. It's, I'm gonna back a Teamster brother or sister against the company every single day. Doesn't mean I have to like them, but I'm gonna every
Right.
single time.
Of
That's not
course.
even a question. Not
Right.
even a question.
I mean,
And I've
we
proved
all
that
have
over the
we all
years.
have families. We all have families.
Yep.
We all
Yep.
have somebody that depending on us. We all here to do the same thing. We all put our life on the line day in and day out.
Yep.
We all do a dangerous job, whether it's inside package, feeder, and man, we gotta stick together, man. And it's like
Yeah.
it's so much division right now, man. It's ridiculous the amount of division or the lack of representation. And I can log on to Facebook and I can see a contract enforcement tour.
Yeah.
Now tell
I
me
know.
that pisses me off.
I know.
Because
I know.
what the hell is being enforced? Let's just be real.
Yep. You can't enforce it at the gates, right?
Nope.
You can't enforce the it's we know what it is. And it's a deception of the whole thing. I mean, it's just unreal. But that's what we're looking to change. We're looking to bring everyone together. Everyone. We don't want it, oh, he's on this side, she's on this side. Everyone's all on one side. That's it.
That's it.
So and
Regardless if we
that's
like
that.
each other or not. Right.
Yep, absolutely. Not even a question. But listen, OJ, really, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Well, it was a way for you to vent, but I appreciate you just speaking on the on certain things, and maybe that helps some members speak up or say, hey, what's this, or something where it brings people to say, hey, question things what the company does, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And just question things in general. So, but definitely appreciate it. So for myself, Garfield, and OJ, everyone have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.